Hello, hello. Look who I'm with. Look. I am here with Susan Goodson, and we're going to talk about some really, really amazing things. But I really want to know the answer to the question that I put at the top with this video. Do you ever feel, no, not even feel, do you hold back being silly or showing your true self because you don't feel like it's professional? Who feels like that? I know I feel like that. Susan, you ever feel like that? Yep.
I feel like that. Yep.
That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the power of sharing that messy side of life and why that's so important, not only for you, but for your audience as well. We're going to talk about the power of authentic video. So please join me in welcoming Susan to our little world here. Susan, would you just in case not everybody knows who you are, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Susan Goodson. I am a retired Mary Kay sales director, having been in leadership for 41 years. I am a clarity and intuitive coach, and I've been building my business probably for the last 4 years. And what I do and what I love to do is I help women specifically just hear that small little voice and have the courage to follow it. It's about stepping into who we always have been but are afraid to own, so that we can share our authentic stories, because that's what we're going to talk about today.
That's exactly what, yeah.
Yeah. So it's about being who we were born to be and having the courage to stand bold and proudly in a world that is trying to control and conform us.
Oh, so true. So before we get into the authentic pieces and the storytelling and all of that, what is your business? How do you help women with this? Is it just women? Is it mostly women?
It's only women.
Only women. Okay.
And, I just met with a former client, and she said to me over coffee, she said, I am not the same woman I was since I have worked with you.
Oh.
And I just adore her. And I am very organic. I listened to a woman on a podcast, Lynn Twist, who wrote the book, The Soul of Money. And she said, I am not one of those 1 through 10 strategic coaches. And see, I'm not either. Mm-hmm. You come to me and you say, something doesn't feel right. I've lost my voice. I've lost my way. I'm in a new chapter of my life. And then you and I together go on this journey that I cannot tell you 1 through 10. Like, okay, if you do this, this, and this, and this is what's going to happen. I just know that we will be led on a journey that will transform not only your life, but my life. And I cannot tell you how that's going to play out. I only can tell you, trust me and God in the universe, and there will be magic. And it's hard to sell that. It's hard to say, you eat 5 meals a day and you drink 14 bottles of water, and by the end of the first week, you'll probably lose 5 pounds. That's not who I am.
Right.
So I don't even know how to market myself, because...
Well, I think you just did by talking about your last client and the transformation she had and how she's a completely different person than she was by working with you. That right there, that sells it. It's more of that.
It is. It is that. It is exactly that. And,
it is, yeah.
And she and I cannot describe it in words, because it goes so much beyond. It goes beyond what the world defines as this is how to do it.
Yeah.
For example, when I met this woman, she was my first client, and she got a free 90-day program as part of my training. And she said, nope, I'm not going to take it for free. I want to pay you. And I'm like, I'm not even certified yet. She said, I'm going to pay you anyway, because if I don't have any skin in the game, I'm not going to take advantage of it. So I had this whole health coach part done. And I'm like, I've got 12 pillars. It's all about losing weight. She's like, oh no, I don't want that. I want you to be my life coach. I'm like, I haven't even done that training yet. And she said, I don't care. because you already have it.
You already
So
have it.
so this is what she did. She took me off the freeway and said, I trust you to take me down the back roads,
Yeah.
and there will be benefits there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't. Ah!
And you
No,
did it.
I
And
did
you
it.
did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
And she and I will forever be changed for the better because of it.
So I know we're going to start talking about authentic video, but before we get in there, let's talk a little bit about you've said this to me before about how powerful stories are in the healing process. Why do stories help us heal?
Well, I think we're all born with our own stories, and I think that women especially have been told to be quiet. We've been told to be the supporting actress in our life. We let the world say, put everybody first so that nobody's hurt. We want them all to shine, and you need to stand in the background. And I think women are like, I'm so tired of that. I'm so done with that. Why can't I be, the leading lady in my own show and still be supportive of the rest of the cast? Why do I have to keep my mouth shut? And so we've lived in shame by by keeping secrets. And see, the secrets aren't usually ours. They're someone else's.
Yeah.
So I remember I was asked to speak at some event. My mom and dad were there. This was a long time ago. And my dad said, okay, I'm coming. And I said, great. And he said, are you going to be comfortable talking in front of me? And I said, the question is, are you going to be comfortable with me sharing the story? Because it has to do with you. And I'm not hiding anymore, Dad. And he's like, okay. And he stepped into that arena. I'm not going to hold other people's secrets just so that you can be comfortable in your own stuff. I'm not, and I think women want to be free to do that. I don't think we want to blame anybody. I just think we want to own the fact that we've carried pain generationally for years that doesn't belong to us. So it's like, you know what, this is it.
But isn't there a way to tell that story without calling anybody out, or is calling somebody out part of the process?
I don't think you need to call anybody out in a shaming or blaming way.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact was, my dad was a wounded man who was an alcoholic who beat us up. I can't. I have to have him be part of the story because he is part of the story.
Right.
But my motive is not to hurt anyone. My motive is to say I have a responsibility to do the healing work because of the pain that my dad transferred to me. I love my dad.
So it's the perspective that you share in telling the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was victimized, but I'm not a victim.
Okay, tell me more. What does that mean?
Okay, that means that I can't deny the fact that I wasn't victimized as a kid, because I was.
You were.
I was beaten, I was emotionally. But the bottom line is I don't have to live that life now, although there are times that I slip back into it and take on what you may have said or have done to convince myself that I'm still there. Like, you could say something and I could go, oh, wow, that was so mean of Jamie. She was being so deliberately nasty to me. It's like, what? No, she wasn't. She was having a bad day. Why am I going to own that?
Why do I have to pick that up and take that on? Yeah.
Exactly. But I can't deny. If I live in denial, then I pretend that everything was okay when it festers deep down inside my body and turns into a disease. It's all of that stuff that we hide because you won't like me if I tell you the truth. Well, if I tell you the truth and I show up on your podcast as a dorky looking, headband girl, I want to care, but not that much.
Yeah. So how do you help somebody get past that? Because there's a lot of people, they're in this group who say, I can't show up with a crazy headband on because it's not professional. I can't tell my story because it's not professional. How do they start to make that shift?
I think they get to recognize that that's their ego speaking. Oh. That's not their true authentic self.
How do you know the difference though?
Well, you first have to learn to go quiet. And we're in a world that is filled with noise. and we're on social media and we look at the perfect people in the perfect place doing the perfect thing, and we hear how they're getting all new clients and we're not, and who would, and then the critter voice steps in that says, who do you think you are? Why do you think you're even good at this? Who are you kidding? The world's all going to laugh at you. And we let that critter voice, because that is not the voice of our authentic self. That is not the voice of that little girl inside of me that says, I was born to be free and dance on the stage of life and put my feet in puddles and make a gorgeous mess. That's the world that's feeding us lies. Like, oh, if you show up looking like you're looking, nobody's going to take you seriously.
No one's going to listen. Yeah.
But you know what? The right people will.
And those are the most important people.
Exactly. Not everybody's going to. I'm a deep dive girl. I'm a bone chewer. Those who don't want to chew the bone with me, they're not gonna show up. Okay.
Right, they're gonna opt out, and that's okay.
Exactly. So I think it's addressing the ego, and I think it's I have to take me out of the picture. If I was born to help change the world, then if I'm spent thinking about what are they going to think of me, I am not doing what I say I want to do. If I really want to step into being the woman who helps change the world for good, then I've got to say to the ego, hey, I appreciate you and your input, but not today.
Not today.
Not today.
So the critter that you talk about, because I've heard you talk about the critter before, that's our ego?
Yeah.
That's the ego.
That's the voice. That's not the voice that tells the truth. That's the voice that lies.
Okay. That's good to know.
You can't show up because you look too chubby, or your makeup isn't right, or God, you didn't even put any lipstick on. I mean, look at you.
Look at your hair. What's going on here with your hair? Like what? Yeah.
That is not, and I call it the voice of God. I have a really strong relationship with God. That is not the voice of God. The voice of God is like, you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are perfect just the way you are. And then that other voice goes, oh, that's a lie. You got to lose 10 pounds first. Oh, you've got to get your office all perfect. If you saw my desk is a mess. It's, I had a friend of mine that said, your ducks aren't in a row. I'm like, honey, my ducks flew away. I don't even know where they went.
I've seen a meme. One of them's not even a duck. I think one of them's not even a duck. Yeah.
Right. But on the contrary, her ducks were so in line that if one of them fell down, they would all choke to death.
Right.
Because they were all so conforming. It's like, no, there's a balance somewhere in there.
There's a balance. So why is it important that we share our messy selves in video? Why?
So that other people get permission to be real.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not hungry for how you do it perfectly, because I can't. I'm hungry for how you do it real, because I can.
Oh, I love that so much.
I don't want to know how you did all of your success. I just want to know how you got up when you fell down and got mud all over your face, because I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'll figure out my own way to success. I just need to see how you lifted yourself up with mud all over you and just stood on that stage and did your deal.
But that can be scary.
Absolutely, that can be scary. Who are we kidding?
So how do you push past that? How do you push past the scary?
You do it scared.
You do it anyway? You find the courage.
I had to speak at a Mary Kay function years ago, 450 people. I was supposed to speak at 1:00. They call me, they come in the director's meeting at 11:30 and they say, is Susan Goodson in here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm right here. They're like, you're up right now. I'm like, no, I'm up at 1:00. No. They're like, no, they're all waiting for you
right now.
So I walked in and I got to the podium and I was going to have a panic attack, and I knew it. And so did the staff, because he brought me a glass of water. I said, do you know that the same feeling of fear is the same feeling in your belly of excitement?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, ladies. I am really excited right now.
I love it.
And it broke the ice, and I went on and did what I did. I believe the people I love the most on stage are the ones that call themselves out so that they can break the cycle of I have to be perfect. And people go, oh, thank God. She's a mess just like me. And I would be scared to death. Oh, so is she. Oh, she's doing it anyway. Okay, I will too.
Well, and then it breeds that whole idea. If she's a mess and she can do it, then I can do it.
And who defines mess?
Right.
Who defines mess? Why do we believe that what the world says is pure success? Why do we believe that? I don't believe it.
Yeah.
No, not anymore. Do it scared. Do it messy. Do it fun. Do it scared. Just get it done.
Yeah. Where do you find the courage?
It's a choice.
Okay, tell me more.
She's in there. Susie, the one that has courage, she's in there. I just have to decide who I'm going to feed. Am I going to feed the courageous one or am I going to feed the fearful one? Because whoever I feed is the one that's going to show up. So I just say to her, come on, honey, let's go. Yeah, but I'm really scared. I think I might throw up. Oh, you probably won't. But if you do, we'll throw up and walk off stage. I mean, seriously, who really cares?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, it's okay. So when I give myself permission, when I give that little girl inside of me permission to just be, she and I show up together. And it is scary. And the part that's real and authentic is the part that says it is scary. You know, it is scary to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you are betraying yourself.
Well, in addition to betraying yourself, you're also going to exhaust yourself because you're trying so hard to be this version that's not really you, but this is the version that you want to show the world. And let me tell you what, it's hard to live up to that.
It absolutely is.
It's so hard to live up to that. And so if any of you are out there feeling like I'm tired, I'm so exhausted, I can't keep doing this, it's probably worth a question to ask yourself. Am I showing up as the real me? Am I being authentic? Am I living to what this little girl wants and not what I think society wants me to do?
You know, I showed up to one of my videos, I don't know, maybe it was the day after my friend died. If I show up to my video like I'm a skip along happy girl, that I will call myself out on that. That's BS. I don't have to dump everything on my video, but I get to acknowledge I am in a lot of pain right now because I just lost a good friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And see, you did a video yesterday. I just watched it. And it was all about the real stuff.
Yep.
It was all about, I've had one of those days or I've had one of those weeks. Let me tell you how I'm living through it. I don't want to. That kind of energy, there is a lot of energy shift going on, by the way.
And that was the reason I did the video yesterday. It's hitting me from every single direction, from friends to clients to, it's really showing up right now.
It is. And it's real.
It is real.
You can't go in the bathroom and close the door and avoid the energy. There is a global energy of shift going. There's gentle endings and new beginnings.
Yeah.
And we get to, one of the things that I give myself permission to do is don't make a big decision when there's this kind of shift going on. You know, don't start a business, end a business, or get a divorce, you know, because in a month everything's going to be different anyway. So it's like, just be in that space.
Just
with
be. It. Yeah.
Somebody
said something to me this morning that I think goes with this, and that is that oftentimes what we're feeling is this resistance. We're feeling resistance, and that's what makes us feel like honestly, it's the imposter syndrome coming up, and I shouldn't be doing this. I'm failing at this. I'm not good enough. It's not working. I'm not getting clients. I'm not, whatever that all is, and that oftentimes that resistance is the strongest right before it's about to break open.
Absolutely. For anyone who's had kids, I just call it contractions.
I love that. Yes.
When you're birthing a new life, you need to find a focal point and breathe.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. You know what? When I was pregnant with my kids, I said when I was going through transition, I'm like, I don't like this. I quit. It's like, too bad.
You can't quit.
The birth is coming.
I
And
don't
you know
want to
what?
do this.
Whatever we're birthing now,
Yeah.
you can push like crazy, but if it isn't ready, it isn't ready.
That's right.
So find the focal point, do the breathing. It's coming, but it's going to come on its own time.
And focus on whatever the next step is. So many times we focus on, it's huge, it's massive. I'm not making any money and I need to make $100,000. Okay, that's not going to happen overnight. What's the next step that you can take?
Exactly.
Yes, you're going to get there, but what is the very next step? What's the step you can actually take?
Right. How do you show up? Yeah. How do you show up to the moment?
Right.
I have a friend of mine that used to say to me all the time when I was in that place of, I want it to happen right now. She would say to me, Susan, if the sun goes nova and the earth blows up, what's going to matter? I'm like, well, of course it isn't going to matter. But what about Saturday? And she's like, no. If the sun goes nova and the earth blows up, is this going to matter tomorrow? And I'm like,
no.
Well, of course not. She said, then be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, I like to know. I want to know.
We all want to know. That's the problem.
Of
And
course.
that's the fatal flaw.
Exactly. We don't get to know.
No, we don't. This is what's hard for me. I'm working on this. This is very much what I'm working on right now. And it is this surrendering and trusting that it's going to all happen. And it's hard. And especially somebody who's type A and used to controlling everything, it is really hard.
I know.
To do that. I don't know if any of you watching can relate to that, but it is hard. But that's how you get to where you're wanting to go.
Oh my God, Jamie, when you can do that, when you can step into the river of life and go with the movement of the river, life is so much easier and exciting because the world wants to support us.
Right.
It's our old way of thinking that says, oh, it's out to get us. It's like, no, it isn't. It's here to give you everything you want in perfect timing. Yeah. Just move with it.
We had this discussion earlier this week about to-do lists and how so many of us jam our days full of meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting and tasks and tasks and tasks and if we don't, then we don't feel productive. We somehow tell ourselves, oh, I've got free space in my calendar. I could take another meeting. I could go work on this other task. And then we wonder why we're exhausted. We wonder why we're not making any traction. We wonder why nothing is happening for us. And the reality is you've got to have more flow. You've got to have more white space. You've got, it's like, it's kind of like when you're trying to find an answer for something and you're forcing it because you're like, no, what is the answer right now? What is the answer? And you can't come up with the answer because you're trying to force it. And then what does it happen? It comes to you when you least expect it, when you're not even paying attention, you're probably in the bath, whatever.
Right.
Then it comes to you.
Right.
We need more of that in our worlds.
We do.
In our life. But that's a hard transition. How do you reset what's productive?
I had a coach one time tell me, she said, Susan, if the next 6 months you did nothing but read books, sit outside, watch the flowers and the bees, and you got a message downloaded to you that created a program that made you $100,000 next year, would you say that 6 months was a waste of time?
No, you wouldn't.
So it's really following your intuition. See, your intuition knows.
It knows, yes.
But our head says, no, that's not it.
Order.
It's like, or do something else. See, I think we stay busy. I think busy is an addiction.
Oh.
I think we are addicted to busy because whatever it is that needs to be healed, it protects us from finding that. It's like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time.
I don't have time.
If you don't have time, it will manifest inside of you.
It's also an addiction. This goes back to what you were talking about earlier in this show. We're conditioned to be busy.
Absolutely.
We as a population, we commend busyness.
Absolutely. We applaud it.
We applaud it. I mean, how many times do you have those conversations where you're walking past somebody and they say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" Or I had it just today. Somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And our first response is, "Oh my God, we've been so busy." Like, I've been busy. Where's my gold star?
Right. Right.
We're conditioned to just like, that's the first thing we say out of our mouth. "Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy."
Well, like you said, we're taught to be human doings,
Yes.
not beings. We're
Yeah.
not taught to be. And I really believe that our destiny finds us when we get quiet.
Just like when that answer you're searching for comes
Right.
to you when you finally settle down. That's why how many of you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, that's what it was. It's because you're finally quiet.
Yeah. But we live in a world that says if you're quiet, you're a loser.
Yeah. You're lazy.
Oh yeah. Non-productive.
Lazy. You're just laying around reading books for 6 months. Lazy.
Yeah. Don't just sit there, do something.
Do
so
something.
now I do, don't just do something, sit there.
Love it. Don't just do something. Sit in the silence. A very good friend of mine is reading a book and it's all about silence. And she just sent me the link this morning. I cannot wait to buy it because I think we need to embrace more of that. So what's a tactical step for those that are out there that are more like type A tactics? What's a tactical step that somebody can take to gain some of this back?
Just be present to the moment as much as you can. Just pause. That's what I say. Pause, breathe, and transform. Pause. Breathe. I used to say pause, breathe, and pivot, but it doesn't always mean that we have to pivot. No. It just means that we pause, breathe, and allow transformation to happen. It's a conscious step to stop.
Yeah.
It's like stop. And then you pause and you take a breath.
I know one thing I'm going to do that because I need to be forced to pause because it's not natural for me right now.
Right.
And so I'm going to force myself to create white space on my calendar. It'll have to be blocked, but it'll still be white space. And I'm going to resist the temptation in that block to do. Because what happens is I'll look at my calendar and be like, "Oh, I don't have a call for 30 minutes. What can I get done? Where's my to-do list?" And instead I'm going to go at least once a day. So you can hold me to this, Susan. Once a day, I'm going to have a block and I'm just going to say, I'm just going to be for 30 minutes.
And what would be fun? What would be fun would be to set our alarms 4 times during the day. Random. The alarm goes off. We're right in the middle of a conversation with a client and we're like, "Oh, my alarm just went off. I need to pause for a moment. Why don't you pause with me?"
Oh, how powerful would that be?
And take a breath.
Let's both take a break.
So if you're live on one of your lives and you're like, "Oh, my alarm just went off." Everybody pause.
30 seconds. It's like that commercial, that water break. I think that was during the Super Bowl, right? Take a water break. Everybody take a water break.
Yes.
Instead of a water break, it's take a moment of silence and just pause for just a beat.
Right. So you could teach people how to randomly listen for their alarm and pause.
I'm doing it.
Okay, good.
Okay. For those of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I would love to know what step you're going to take. We've had Susan and I have had so many different conversations in this 30 minutes. We've talked about so many different things, and it's just such a wonderful, rich conversation. And this is what I want to do more of, is just not scripted, not planned, just go wherever we're going to go. So thank you, Susan, for being on with me today. Thank you for just being you. You're so flipping awesome. I love you so much.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're in my circle, and I am glad you are on this planet because you're doing all of the things you just talked about. You are changing the world. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
So for those of you that are watching, I've said this a million times, I know, but it's one thing to sit back here with Susan and I and just absorb it and listen to it. And what I don't want you to do is listen to it and then the weekend comes and then Monday comes and you're right back to the same habits and the same habits of busy, 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 busy. How do I fill my day? And making sure that my videos are professional and that I look exactly right and that my posts are polished and all of that. What are you going to do different? What is one step that you can shift and make and begin to stop doing and just sit? Isn't that what you said? Stop doing and just sit?
Yeah. But the other thing too is I would love to challenge them to go live, spontaneously live on their pages and see how people respond based on the authentic video rather than on the video they've been trying to do. Like, do some research.
Here's a perfect example. You mentioned my video last night. I did that last night, unscripted. I just was feeling very called and I just talked. And as I this morning rewatched that back, I immediately go into critique mode at how many times I said and the reason I said so many times is because I didn't plan it. I didn't script it. I was just talking. But you know what? I bet as we watch that video, we're going to see more views and more comments on that video than even the most scripted, polished video I've done over the last 3 weeks.
I don't even remember you saying
See? I tell people all the time, most people don't hear it. If your message is coming from a good place, they're going to filter out the ums. They're not going to hear it.
Yeah, it's about showing up.
It's about showing up, and it's about speaking from the heart, and it's about what do you always say? Speaking the truth, speaking your truth.
Yeah.
Being real, your authentic, true self.
Yeah.
That's what the world wants, and gosh, that is what the world needs. We need more of that. If we want to be the women that change the world, that's how it starts.
Be that woman.
Be that woman, and show others how to be that woman. Yes. Be that woman. Yes. All right. Thank you, Susan, for doing this. You're fantastic. Everybody else I know. Look. Okay, here. Let's have a look.
Oh, God. Messy.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Love it. Love you.
Love you too. Everybody have a great weekend. Bye.
Okay, bye.